yeah, I get it. You don't like Gunn style, you don't like his humor, you don't like this, but at the same time, he did make a Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy that pulled in quite a lot of money. Comic book movie directors. Who are the top dogs, huh? Who do we think the top dogs are? Well, it doesn't really matter because we all have our own individual lists. But if we were gonna look at it kind of objectively, I guess you could say, where you could look at box office, you could look at, do people still talk about these movies? You could look at the quality of the movies. There's a lot of factors that you could do to pretty much have almost like, hey, we're almost like an objective list. But for the most part, it's always gonna be a subjective list. You're gonna have your personal top CBM directors. I'm gonna have mine, and and then of course the order can be all rearranged, but this was making the rounds on Twitter, of course, and then that loud side of the fandom, of course. I mean, I saw a tweet from somebody that I used to associate with, somebody who's actually been on the Vox stream a long time ago. They just went all psycho culty type, and it was kind of crazy, and that was when I kind of initially saw this right here. But MCU Film News posted this right here. The greatest CBM directors. And of course we have Nolan, we have Gunn, we have the Russo brothers, and we have Sam Raimi. I can totally back that list up. Totally can. But we should make it top 5. Okay? Obviously with Twitter, and with the dimensions of how they put that GIF out there, it can only fit 4. But normally you're gonna do a top 5. So naturally, who am I gonna add to that? Zack Snyder, of course. I would say he's up there, which I think some people, even if you don't like him that much, could be like, oh yeah, could totally make an argument for that. Because, I mean, if you look at what these directors, including Zack, have put out there when it comes to CBMs, they've put out the most memorable and some of the most profitable movies, for sure. I mean, Chris Nolan, of course, Dark Knight trilogy, 100%. The Russo brothers, they pulled off Infinity War. Yeah, Endgame wasn't as strong, but they still pulled all that off. Now they're going to be taking on the next 2 Avengers movies. Sam Raimi, of course, naturally. That first Spider-Man, I mean, he paved the way for these others, basically. Well, I would say that Raimi and Nolan paved the way for the others, for sure. And then, of course, like I said, Zack Snyder, because I'm a Zack Snyder fan. Loved what he did when it came to the genre, 100%. BVS, Man of Steel, they're my top, favorite movies in the genre. But when I see people go, fucking James, well, of course, because they hate James Gunn so much. But I'm going, again, this man took characters that nobody really knew about. And yes, it did help that the MCU was already flying pretty good, because obviously Guardians of the Galaxy wouldn't have been made in the first phase, 100%. But so the fact that the first phase was such a hit, they were able to take some risks. And sometimes, if you're looking at recent MCU movies, sometimes those risks don't pay off. The risk for Guardians of the Galaxy paid off. $2.5 billion trilogy right there. So I'm just saying, yeah, I get it. You don't like Gunn style, you don't like his humor, you don't like this, but at the same time, he did make a Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy that pulled in quite a lot of money. And then, of course, there's other arguments, too, when it comes to other directors. I mean, again, people might say, oh, Matt Reeves. But Matt Reeves has really only done one movie. Of course, he's getting that second one. And I would argue totally that he could be on that list as well. James Mangold can be on that list for greatest CBM director, because The Wolverine is fantastic. The ending has its issues, but that train sequence is amazing. And then Logan was just all around an amazing movie. So there are others out there that have done that, but I would say, Sam Raimi definitely paved the way for the rest. Christopher Nolan, same thing, kind of paved it in a different way. And then the Russos and Gunn, they kind of achieved some impossible feats